I'm Mr. Lee. Many of you probably seen me around up in the high school last year and years before. So welcome to this session, and thank you for bringing me in and inviting me to come in. I've been really keen to do this. So I'll tell a little bit about my holidays first, and because you guys write recounts, yeah? Like sometimes write things, stories, maybe like what I did in the holidays, or is that kind of a little bit lower down in primary school? Yeah, okay, so that's cool. I'm going to show you a couple of tips of how to write a little bit more like, can I use the word professional?
Yes.
Can I use the word, I'm going to impress my teacher? Can I use phrases like, when that NatLand marker gets my work, they're going to read it and it's going to be like, oh, that's nice. It kind of, it reads quite well, and this person's done quite a good job. I'm sure you guys do a good job anyway, but here's a couple of extra tips to make your writing a little bit more professional, or I like to say more fluent, a little bit more sophisticated. A couple of words there, but okay, here I'll explain what I mean. So today we're looking at a couple of things. I'll write them up here and then we'll talk about them. I sometimes call this ing form, but for you guys today I'll use the word ing words. Okay, and ed words. And I'll explain what they are. And probably also look at words like this, and you may already have covered things like using these, but these work really well with what I'm about to go through. Alright, so that's our little section for today. Now, ing words. Can you give me a word that has ing in it? I want to shout it out. Yep. Okay, anyone else? Partying. Oh, excellent. Okay, so we've got the word now. Guess what? Just you don't have to physically put your hand up, but in your head, just put your hand up or, like nod to yourself. If you know what sort of word that is called in terms of nouns, verbs, adjectives, and all that stuff. Alright? I've got this word called, this word party. Alright? Does someone want to give me another word? Did everyone work that out? It's a verb, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes we call them processes, and sometimes we call them doing or action or thinking type words. Yes? Kicking, awesome. The reason why I like that one as well, and I'm going to write the word kick, because that's our basic verb, isn't it? Verb form. Now, put your hands down. I'm going to just cover this a little. This thing here, kick, is pretty concrete, pretty physical. You could see it. If someone kicked someone else, you can see it pretty easily. Okay? If you look at the word party, as in not just this is a party, but let's party, and you're doing it as an action, a verb. Sometimes it's not quite clear. You can see it physically, but it's not as clear as like kicking or punching or jumping or screaming. It's a little sort of a little bit abstract. It's kind of, they could be partying, they could be arguing, discussing, meeting, they could be just having fun. They could be, Let's come up with one more word that you cannot really see, but is still a verb, a process, right? Okay. Now we mentioned the word doing, verbs or processes. Okay, and thinking. I'm looking for like a thinking or a mental sort of verb process. Can someone over here give me one? Yes?
Thinking.
Thinking. Awesome. Good. So we put the word think. So we've got partying. Right, let's actually now turn these into ing words. Kicking and thinking. This is what we're talking about. Now, can I have someone through the middle here put your hand up to let me give me a participant, a person, an animal, a thing, a name of who's going to do some of this stuff. Yes?
Could it be food?
Yep.
Baking.
Okay, that's a verb, but what about the thing that's actually doing it? Who's going to do this? Person. Give me a name or give me an animal.
The ants or ing.
No, sorry, no, we're not doing ing. I just want someone who's going to actually do this. Yep.
Horse.
Horse, excellent. So we've got this. Alright. Hold on. So now let's just have one more participant. It could be an animal, it could be a name of somebody, hopefully that we don't know or anything like that. But I might choose someone at the back there, yes? Or a thing, doesn't matter. Chef, awesome. That's good. Alright, just so you know, party, kick and think are verbs. I'll just put a V there. Processes, we sometimes use the word process. It's the thing that's happening. Okay? And horse and chef are in this case we call them nouns. I'll put an N. But we also use the word participants because the horse could be kicking the chef, okay? And they're both nouns, but the horse, but the chef's not actually, the chef's a participant, is involved in what's going on, but they're not the one actually kicking, are they? But they're still participating. What that means is, the horse is the one doing it, the chef is the one that's made to be involved. The chef didn't say, please kick me, and the horse went, yes, bang, okay? But they're still both participants. Got it? Got it? Okay. So we know what nouns and verbs are. Okay. So how does ing help? Let's stop for a minute. Pause. Get our thinking caps on. How does ing help to make our sentences flow better? They're more concise. I haven't actually explained how we're going to use it yet. So I just want you to think, don't put your hand up to share. And why is it good? Why is the ing form going to be good for your writing? That's kind of what I'm trying to get you to think about. So, what normally happens in your writing, in my writing, when I don't use things like this, it becomes long, a little bit boring, and I'll give you an example right now. Okay? I'll just say, I won't write it up. Thanks. Okay.
20 minutes.
I could say something like this. The chef was cooking, and then the horse trotted by, and the chef annoyed the horse. The chef annoyed the horse, so the horse kicked the chef, and the chef yelled and screamed and came out with his knives and chased him. So that was quite long with a lot of information there, but I used what we call a conjunction. I used the word and. I used so, and. Have you learned these things before?
Yes.
And you need to know them, and they're really helpful. But sometimes we want to try and use a little bit less of those and a little bit more of this. Are you ready for me to show you an example of how this works? Okay. So we've got the horse. Let's just say, okay, the horse, let's say the horse is partying. How do we go? So, the horse partied until
Midnight.
midnight is what I'm looking for. Until midnight. Full stop, there's a sentence. Is that a good sentence? It works. Then you've got, let's leave the chef out for now. How can what we're actually doing is we're adding more verbs without using and or because. Without using words like then, after that. We're going to make the sentence concise, pack in information, make it flow, and make it read really well. Let's have a look at it. The horse partied until midnight. What kind of punctuation do you think I should put here? Comma. Thank you. That's exactly how this works. You use the comma before you use the ing word. Now, let's pick one of these and see which. Let's try the thinking one. Alright, think. Normally when you use and or then, you would use the same tense, like party, right? So the horse partied until midnight. He thought, or she thought is past tense, right? Okay, it happened sometime in the past. Well, when we use ing, you don't have to get confused about tense. Have your teacher sometimes said to you, maybe this year or years in the past, Can you change your tense? Can you get the right tense? Can you keep it all in past tense or future tense? Alright? Well, this is really helpful because as long as you get the main sentence right, past tense here, when you add ing, you don't have to worry about it. You just put an ing word. You don't have to worry about past tense. Isn't that helpful? Now let's see how it works. Think. Thinking it was Saturday. Of course, the horse had a race on Monday, but it was actually Sunday, so he shouldn't have been partying until midnight because he had to prepare for the races. See what I'm doing with this? I'm just making up a little story here to make this fit. Thinking it was Saturday, the horse partied up till midnight. Would it be a good idea to write all this in? Yep. For now, I just need you to write this sentence in. So, the horse partied until midnight thinking it was Saturday. Now, while you're writing that down, I want you to think about how useful this is. I can actually flip the sentence around. And that's really handy as well. You know how you can change bits of sentences around and it still makes sense? Well, this is one of those. So pause there for a moment. Read this with me, but this time, read this part first. Imagine that was the capital T there, and that's the beginning of the sentence. Read this. Imagine there's a comma there, and then that bit comes next. So let's read that first, and see if it still makes sense. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Thinking it was Saturday, the horse partied until midnight.
Does that work?
Yes.
Awesome. And so that's how it's really handy. Sometimes you can put the thinking word, the ing word first. Okay? Or sometimes you can do it after the comma and put it straight after the comma. Let's do one more example. Okay? So we're going to add more verbs. Let's use the chef this time and use an ing word first. So we haven't done picking, so we'll put kicking in. You can finish this sentence off now while we just write this one together and then you can copy it down. Are you ready? Kicking. As hard as he could. Now, what do you think I need to put straight after this? What punctuation mark? Comma. Kicking as hard as he could. Alright, we now need to put the participant, the chef. The chef I'm going to use a new verb now, okay? So, kicking as hard as he could, the chef shouted with all his might. Does that sound like a reasonable sentence? It might not quite make sense. It must be a funny story, but here we go anyway. Let's read that backwards. Flip it around, and it will still work. I'll read it first as it is. Kicking as hard as he could, the chef shouted with all his might. So no, I'm not saying kicking. The chef kicked as hard as he could, and he screamed at the top of his voice. You know, I'm not making two separate sentences or using a conjunction. Can you see how this flows together? It's quite neat. And when you do poetry, guys do poetry or have done poetry this year, these are really powerful. In fact, I'm thinking about it now. I'm sure I've heard lots of pop songs on the radio or wherever. They use a lot of these kind of words and don't even bother to mention who's it's about. You know, walking down the road, thinking it's Tuesday or whatever it is. You know, they use those words. He's not going to then go like it's not an essay, so he's not going to say, "I then walked, found my." It's a poetic way of writing. It's quite fluent. So let's read it now. Can we read it back to front? Everyone together. 3, 2, 1, go.
The chef shouted with all his might, kicking as hard as he could.
And we could put another comma and add some more stuff and see how fluent, how nicely it reads. I could put after that comma, Until the horse gave up. You know, and I've got three different things, just using a couple of little commas and ing form. Are you happy with that so far?
Yes.
Write it in.